Greetings to all my fellow watch enthusiasts on YouTube and Facebook, and wherever else this video is being seen and shared. Celine Driver once again. I wanted to come to you today with a comparison video. It just seemed like this sort of thing that kind of naturally should happen, considering the watch that I received recently and I just did a video on. That would be this watch here, the Boldr Odyssey in bronze. This is, just to review quickly, this is a tour watch. This is not a watch I own. This is a watch that was put on tour through the Random Rob YouTube channel and the Random Rob Patreon group. A tour watch basically is a watch that is selected by Random Rob after he reviews it on his channel, of course, and is sent on tour to a set of 10 or 12 or so members of the Random Rob Patreon group. You get the watch in, play with it for a few days. If you're a YouTuber like me, you get to obviously make a video of it, and then send it off again, and everybody's happy. Well, before this left, I thought, because I own several watches from another micro brand, Zelos, and everybody knows that I am a shameless Zelos fanboy. Why not do a comparison between two bronze Zelos divers? In this case, pardon me while I scratch a little itch on my cheek there. In this case, the most natural comparison between the two watches is a Zelos Hammerhead. Now, this one happens to be a first generation Hammerhead. This is my Zelos Hammerhead 688 limited edition watch. Very briefly, the 688 limited edition is a standard Zelos Hammerhead, but the watch face, the metal on the watch face right here, is metal taken from the USS Los Angeles nuclear attack submarine, the 688 boat. All submarines in our service have a number, and the 688 USS Los Angeles was the lead submarine in the Los Angeles class attack submarine, which is this boat was actually retired. The Los Angeles was retired and broken up, and Elshin managed to get a hold of some metal from that submarine and created watch faces for the a limited edition run of Hammerheads. I don't remember exactly how many there were. That might be on here somewhere. And damn my eyeballs, I can't see it through the viewfinder, or through the screen, I should say, but you probably see it, so it's on there somewhere. Anyway, so enough with the history of that. So very similar watches. They look very similar. Obviously, the one with the green strap is going to be the Boldr. The one with the brown strap is the Hammerhead, the Zelos. They look very similar. They have faceted profiles, although the facet profile on the Boldr is much bigger and much more pronounced. They're both bronze watches, of course. Now, for some reason, the Boldr has a helium escape valve, whereas the Hammerhead does not. They chose not to put a helium escape valve in this version of the watch, even though this watch is rated at twice the water resistance of the Boldr, 1,000 meter for this one versus 500 for the Boldr. Both have excellent bezel action. I'd say that the Hammerhead's bezel is a little easier to turn than the Boldr. This one's a little stiffer, not by much. Both very vocal. Both both have, high quality. They don't have a lot of slop in them. Whoops. If you turn it and then you come to set it in place, there's no slop in either one of them. So both high quality units. They both use the same Seiko NH35. Now, I've had this watch for a couple of years now. I've only had this for a few days, but I got to tell you, if you want a testimony of how well the NH35 does, they both keep excellent time. This one has kept excellent time. I rarely, if ever, have to set it. I just put it on the winder and away she goes, and I've had no trouble with this watch with the same movement that's in here. So a good testimony as to how well built the NH35 movement is. And you can buy this watch or buy this one used. Not this one, it's not for sale. But if you ever come across a watch with an NH35 movement on the secondary market, as long as the movement has been properly cared for, you should have no trouble with it. In terms of size, you can see the Boldr is a little bit bigger at 45.5 millimeter versus 44 millimeter for this. This one is a little thicker. The Hammerhead's a little thicker. It's 17 millimeter versus 16 millimeter for the Boldr. And that pretty much comes down to the domed crystal on the Hammerhead versus the flat crystal on the Boldr. They both have 22 millimeter lug widths. And the Boldr is a little bit broader across at 52 millimeter lug to lug versus 49 millimeter lug to lug for the Zelos. You can see the Zelos definitely has a deeper patina than the Boldr. That's all down to the fact I've had this watch for 2 years or so in Florida, in humidity, in salt air. And that's what humidity and salt air does for patina versus, just exposure to whatever air this tour watch has been exposed to as it bops around the country. I mean, before I got this, the watch was in Utah. So Utah is not a lot of humidity, not a lot of salt. So it's not going to patina up. If I kept this watch for 6 months, I guarantee you it would darken up like this one very quickly. As I said, 500 meter water resistance for the Boldr, 1,000 for the Zelos. Both have 120 click bezels. Both have full lume. This is an aluminum bezel insert. This one is a bronze insert. Both have signed crowns. The Zelos one is smaller, but it is lumed. The Boldr is bigger, but it is not. You have Super Luminova on indices, hands, bezel on both watches. Both have the dates at 6 o'clock. The date on the Boldr is the date wheel is in green, so it's very stealthy. The date window on the Zelos is in black up against a gray metal background, so easier to read. That's a plus for the Zelos in my mind. Also, you'll notice the Zelos second hand is in red versus the same color second hand as the minute and hour hands on the Boldr. It does tend to disappear a little bit for about a half second. So this one is a little easier to read in my humble opinion. I also like the 4 o'clock position of the crown on the Zelos versus the 3 o'clock on the Boldr, just for aesthetics. And I think the crown is a little bit more guarded on the Zelos than it is on the Boldr, but that's subjective. On the wrist, I'll give you a wrist shot of both of them real quick. Again, the same as I said in the other video. The Zelos and the Boldr both came with leather straps. You can't put a metal strap on a bronze watch because it just looks funny. But this thing could be easily paired up with maybe a black mesh or something like that. I think would look pretty good. Or maybe in this watch's case, maybe a silver or a dull metal finish a satin finish that would go good with the watch face. You can see that this one has very short lugs at 49 millimeter across on my 7¼ inch wrist. It wears a little bit better in terms of width than the Boldr does. I'm just going to hold it here. You can see the Boldr is a lot broader across on my wrist than the Zelos. So some smaller wrists might not be able to handle the Boldr as well as the Zelos. In terms of quality, I've been living with my Zelos watches a lot longer than this Boldr watch, but I've got to say that the ratings I read about with Boldr on the web and my own experience is this is a high quality watch, as good a quality as the Zelos. It seems they both have excellent heft. They both are keeping excellent time. They don't require a lot of fiddly maintenance or anything. They just are great grab and go type watches. Maybe you might just want to cross-reference the time real quick against your cell phone to make sure it's absolutely spot on. But every time I look at these watches against my cell phone, they're spot on. So they both make great grab and go style automatics. The Intangible for me is very simple, and it's personal to me. Is I have an excellent relationship. I think I have an excellent relationship with Elshin, or the owner of Zelos. His customer service has been, for me, second to none. I mean, I literally have had, of all the Zelos I have owned and my father has owned, I've only had 2 Zelos fail me. And I had both problems resolved within a week and a half to 2 weeks of reporting those problems to Elshin. I cannot comment on the customer service from Boldr because I don't have an experience with them. Others I've talked to have had excellent experience with Boldr, so I'll go with that. But personally, I've had excellent experience working with, talking to, and buying from Elshin. So for me, Zelos is going to be the gold standard against which I judge all my other watches that I own. Since I don't own the Boldr, I can't fairly make a judgment on that. All I can say is others have told me that Boldr's customer service is great, so I will stipulate to that, to what they say. And I'll go with it because I trust those people to tell me the truth. So there's my comparison between 2 bronze divers that I have experience with. My own personal Zelos Hammerhead 1 688 and the Boldr Odyssey Bronze Serpentine. Both excellent watches. If you have a chance to get a hold of a Hammerhead, go ahead and do it. I highly recommend. And of course, if you have, and because the Boldrs are more readily available, because obviously this watch is out of production at the moment, and they're on to the Hammerhead 2 now. If you have the opportunity to get a hold of a Boldr, why not? I'll let it flop there. Anyway, thumbs up if you like the video. The thumbs up, clicking the like button, the thumbs up button helps my channel. It makes it more searchable via the YouTube search algorithms. Helps bring more people to the channel, so a thumbs up always helps me. Comments, questions, and suggestions down below. I read them all. I respond to them all. However, if you're going to troll me or you're going to be a jerk about it, I'll just delete the comment and I'll block you because it's my channel and I can do that. If you're not already a member, or you've been here for a little while, you haven't done so already, please click the subscribe button and then click the bell icon next to it so that when I upload new videos, you will be alerted to that happening. I hope you found this video useful and entertaining. I promise there will be more useful and entertaining videos coming. Stay tuned. Have a good rest of the day.